Great. So if you remember, in week 1, 2, and 3, we talked about the different levels of education. Here in the UK, we started from level 1 and 2, which is like a school degrees, high school degrees, GCSEs, high school diploma. And then we talked about different level 3 opportunities that you have here in this country. We talked about access courses, we talked about foundation years, also we talked about A-levels. And then last week, we talked about how to apply for undergraduate courses like bachelor. And we went through the whole application process through the UCAS webpage. Also, we talked about different types of entry requirements that different universities may have in terms of qualifications and in terms of the language proficiency requirements. We talked about some universities, they only accept IELTS. Some of them, they are more flexible in terms of accepting IELTS, but functional skills, ESOL qualifications, and other equivalent qualifications. So, and then if you remember, the main point was about you need to work towards two things. First, making sure that you have the academic qualifications, whether it's high school diploma, college courses, college diploma, and at the same time, you need language qualifications as well, which can be IELTS or could be other equivalent qualifications, which shows you can speak English or your level of English is about IELTS 6.5. Today, in the first part, we are going to talk about how to apply for postgraduate studies. And in the second part, we are going to talk about scholarships. Before I start, any question that you would like to ask? Okay, so here in the UK, when it comes to postgraduate courses in the UK, we have two main types of postgraduate studies. The first one is master, and master courses in the UK, they are often titled Master of Science, MSc, or Master of Arts, or MA. So these are similar in terms of the level of the course. Both MSc and MA are similar qualifications. The difference is different kind of subjects. MSc is mainly for type of applied subjects, whereas MA, Master of Art, is mainly for social science and humanities type of studies. But in terms of the value, in terms of the credibility of MSCs and MAs, they are equivalent. In some universities, some degrees, some subjects, they call it MSc. In some, they call it MA. Also, we have two types of master courses here in the UK. Master postgraduate taught and postgraduate research, PGT or PGR. The reason that you need to know these kind of names and labels, it helps you to choose the best option based on your requirements and circumstances. So postgraduate thought, it's similar to undergraduate. It's similar to university or high school. If you've been to university, if you've been to high school, you have weekly classes, weekly lectures, seminars, tutorials, assessments, and you need to write a dissertation. So you go to university in person, you go there physically, you have other colleagues, other co-workers, you have lecturers, you sit in the classroom, you have weekly sessions, and then you have exams, and then you have a dissertation to write. However, the second type of postgraduate studies is postgraduate research, or PGR. And in PGR, the main difference is you don't have those classes. So you don't go every week or during the term time to university to have classes. You only write a dissertation based on the research that you will undertake. So you choose a PGR, postgraduate research, then you start working on a research project. You will have a supervisor in that university, and that supervisor helps you throughout your research process. And then you will write an assessment, or you will write a dissertation based on the research that you've conducted. If you plan to become a researcher, or if you plan to continue your education, becoming like a doctorate student, a PhD student, PGR is a very good option for that plan. So most people who prefer or choose to do postgraduate research, they plan to become a researcher or to continue to become a PhD student, a doctorate student. Whereas if you plan to use your MSc to then go and find a job, then PGT, postgraduate taught, is a better option for you. So just have these two options in mind, because when you search for postgraduate studies, you may come across, okay, this is a PGT course or this is a PGR course. So you need to have in mind, PGT is the traditional, usual academic course with weekly classes during term time, exams, assessments, and all the rest of it. Whereas PGR is only about doing a research, writing a dissertation, and having your postgraduate MSc or MA degree. In the UK, unlike many other countries, in many countries, like some of the countries that we come from, or even in the US, the postgraduate studies, MSc or MA, it takes 2 years. Whereas here in the UK, it's just 1 year. So you have 2 semesters, and then during the summer, you have 2 months, 3 months to write your dissertation. So have this in mind. MSc courses or MA courses in the UK, if you do full time, it's 1 year, 2 semesters, and 1 dissertation. If you do part-time, it could take 2 years. Okay, so you can do full-time 1 year or part-time 2 years of MSc. If you're searching for MSc courses, when I send you the slides, you will have a link where you can find information about most of the PG courses here in the UK. I'm going to take some time to take you through that page, okay, so if you click on that link, it takes you to this page, which is on the UCAS website. And here you can find most of the postgraduate courses, different universities across the UK. And then if you click on each of them, you can find more information about what the course is about, the starting date, and the entry requirement. So as you can see, most of these courses are 1 year. Some of them are called MA, Master of Art. Some of them are called MSc, Master of Science. They are similar in terms of the value of the degree or the level of the degree. The only difference, as I said, is about the subject. Some subjects are titled Master of Art in some faculties, some universities. Others are Master of Science, but in terms of the value, they are similar. I'm going to go through probably one of these options to see what other information you can have. For instance, University of Kent. Oh no, that's a PhD. University of Manchester. They have an MSc in accounting. It takes 12 months. As I said, most MA or MSc courses in the UK, it takes 1 year, 2 semesters if you do full time, and then you have 1 more semester for your dissertation. So if you click on this, it's going to take you to the page with more information. As you can see, in front of accounting, it says taught, which means if you just remember from the slide that I showed you, when it says postgraduate taught, it means it's like a normal university course. You go to class, you have lectures, seminars, assessments, exams, and dissertation. If it says research, it means you don't have any classes or assessments or exams. You only do a research, you write a dissertation, and you will have your degree. Okay, so the course of it starts. This is for this year, 2024-25. It's MSc. It's in Manchester. September 2024. It starts in a few months. It's a full time and it takes 12 months. And here, from the left side column from the menu, you can find more information about what the course is about, the entry requirement, fees and fundings, and information about the university itself. If you go through the entry requirements, which I'm going to explain later, so similar to many other universities here in the UK, they want you to have an undergraduate degree, a bachelor degree, first or upper second, which means your marks, your grades, they need to be above like 60% average. If your average is below 60%, probably you are not going to have good chance of having offer from University of Manchester, and you need to see if other universities, they accept any average below 60%. But most universities, they want first or upper second class honors, which means average 60% or above. From UK universities, overseas equivalent. They will have something about the language requirement as well, and more information about fees and fundings that we are going to talk about in my next slide. There is a question about which one is better, whether to do it full-time or part-time. Well, it very much depends on your situation, okay? So the reason that people choose to do part-time is because they don't have enough time to do full-time. So if you have enough time, if you don't work, if you don't have family requirements, family commitments, and you can do it full-time, do it full-time. Why people choose to do it part-time is because they don't have time. They work most of the time. People who do part-time courses, they have a job, so they work and they don't have enough time to go to lectures, to classes and exams. So if you have time, it's better to do it full-time. Part-time is mainly for people with time restrictions or time limitations, because they work or they have children, they need to look after their children, and they don't have enough time to go through the whole course in 1 year. So they prefer to go through the course in 2 years so that they can have more time. And then the second type of postgraduate studies. So the first type was master, MSc or MA, and the second type is PhD. And PhD here in the UK, it's postgraduate degree by research. So again, in some countries, PhD is a combination of taught courses and research. So during the first year or second year of your PhD, in some countries, like US, like some other countries, you have some courses to pass, and then you start your research. But here in the UK, it's just about research. So you will have some preparation and training, but it's just about research. You don't have any official exam, official assessment. You start working on the research, and during the course of, it usually takes 3 to 4 years. And during the course of 3 to 4 years, you need to continue that research, you need to finish that research, and you need to write and defend your thesis under supervision from academics in whatever university that you are. So that's the kind of the highest level of education that someone can go through. And as I said, it takes 3 to 4 years here in the UK, and it's a research-only qualification. Let's see what are the entry requirements. Okay, the general entry requirements, most universities, they would like you to have, first of all, an undergraduate degree. Some, they want higher undergraduate degree than others. So some of them, as you've just seen, University of Manchester, they want upper degrees or upper second class or honors degrees, 2-1. But some, they are more flexible, so they accept lower second class honor degrees or equivalent. So between universities, some of them, they are more flexible in terms of the level of your undergraduate degree. So I'll take you again to University of Manchester website, and there you can see that here, University of Manchester, it says upper second class, 2-1, 60%, but there are other universities and they accept lower second class, 2-2, which means above 50%. So don't worry that much if you don't have upper second class, because there are some universities who accept lower second class degrees as well. If you have work experience, again, it's not necessary, but if you have some kind of work experience relevant to what you are going to apply for, that would be helpful in the admission and application process. But it's not necessary. If you don't have that, that's fine. You still can apply. But most of the time, universities appreciate people with relevant work experience. So if you have it, make sure that you will write about your relevant work experience in your personal statement, which we are going to talk about it later. The third one is about your language requirement, and it's something different between different universities. So first of all, if you remember from undergraduate, we talked about universities, they accept different type of qualifications. Some or all of them, they accept IELTS, but many of them, they accept ESOL, they accept functional skills, they accept Trinity, and other language assessments. Whereas for postgraduate, for MSc and for PhD, it's just about IELTS or TOEFL. So you don't have that many options that you have for undergraduate. If you're planning to do postgraduate, MSc or PhD, then the best option, and then the main options or the only options are IELTS or TOEFL. And then the best one between these two could be probably IELTS. But universities, some of them for MSc, some accept 6 or they require 6, but most of them, many of them, they accept or they require 6.5. So that's the main thing. Have that in mind. If you're planning to do an MSc, IELTS 6.5 is what you need. However, there are some universities with kind of higher expectations, and they would like you to have 7. And it depends on university and the subject, because some subjects, they require you to have more advanced level of language. In some university web pages, for some subjects, you come across a test that calls ATAS, Academic Technology Approval Scheme. That's not something that you need to be worried about. It's mainly about international students. If they want it from international students. So most of the time, universities, they don't require that for refugee or asylum seeker students who already live here in this country. Something else that you need to have in mind in terms of your number 1, in terms of your undergraduate degree, for many courses, it doesn't need to be relevant to what you would like to study in postgraduate. But for some courses, it needs to be relevant, okay? So for instance, if you plan to study management for postgraduate, but you studied engineering in undergraduate, that's fine. You can have a bachelor in construction engineering or aviation engineering, and then continue to management business type of studies in your postgraduate. However, if you would like to study postgraduate engineering, you need to have an undergraduate in engineering as well. So make sure that you go through the university website and see if universities are flexible in terms of what type of undergraduate degree you need to have. For some subjects, for some courses, it's not an issue. It doesn't matter. Whatever undergraduate, you can continue with that postgraduate. And it's mainly for like humanities, social science. But for some courses, especially in like engineering, medicine, nursing, if you plan to do postgraduate, you need to have a relevant undergraduate degree as well. Again, I'm going to take you to University of Manchester website to see here. I'm going to just make it a bit larger. In terms of entry requirements, they would like you to have a degree postgraduate in accounting, because here it's about postgraduate in accounting. And for that, they would like you to have a degree in accounting. Okay, so or similar subjects. So which means if you study geography for undergraduate, they don't give you an offer to study postgraduate in accounting, because accounting, you need to have some understanding, like undergraduate level of understanding of accounting and the techniques and different types of, or the skills for accounting. If you don't have it, you can do some professional accounting qualifications. So before applying, so you would like to study accounting, you don't have undergraduate degree in accounting, what you can do instead is just to go probably to college, do some accounting courses, having those professional accounting qualifications, and then apply for postgraduate. And it says it will be considered. So don't think that because I studied politics for undergraduate, I cannot study accounting for postgraduate. You can, but before that, you need to have some professional accounting qualifications. You go to college, you have those qualifications, then you can apply for MSc accounting. Back to my slide. Again, undergraduate degree, some universities lower second, some universities upper second. So you need to check with the university which one is more likely for you to have an offer from. You need, for some universities, your degree needs to be relevant. For some, it doesn't matter. For some subjects, if you have a work experience, relevant, that's very helpful. It's not necessary. For language, it's IELTS or TOEFL for 99% of universities. For most of them, it's 6.5. Some, very few, 6, very few, 7, but 6.5 is the requirement for most universities, and ATAS is for international students and refugee. As your immigration status is refugee, most universities, they don't want you to have ATAS. Before I move on to the next slide, we have a question which says, I have a paper from the college that's saying the course I took were taught by full English. Will the university accept as an English requirement? No, unfortunately. College courses, if universities, they don't accept college degrees as previous fully English taught course. No, you need, if you do bachelor and then you apply for postgraduate, yes, they accept it. So you don't need to do IELTS again. Or if you do MSc here in the UK and then you want to apply for PhD, universities, they accept it. But college course is not a university course, okay? And then it cannot help with the language requirement. If you do any university course here in the UK, then you don't need to do an IELTS or TOEFL when you apply for postgraduate studies. But college course, no, you need to go through, you need to have like a certificate of level of your language proficiency. Any other question? Okay, so if you plan to apply for MSc or MA, make sure, again, these are the general requirements, and you can apply for, if you have post-undergraduate degree, in 99% of the cases, universities accept your undergraduate degree from any country. So most of the kind of degrees from different countries, universities, they accept them for postgraduate studies in the UK. Go on, Jackie.
Okay. My question is, if you have any like problem to attend the classes in universities daily in physical, like you are not able to, like you have a small baby, you have family issues. So is it possible to complete my post graduation, my master's, in distance learning at any university? Is there any opportunity?
Of course, many universities, they have online courses or distant learning courses. So you need to apply for those courses from the very beginning, okay? So I'm going to show you to go back to the UCAS page. Let's see. So here, when it comes to application, you need to apply for courses. Those are online or distant. And the way that to find them is by probably, there should be a filter here. Let's see here. You can filter it based on distance learning. Okay. And then it shows you, okay, this is distance learning. And then when you go back, you can see there are tens of, oh, here we have about 1,000 course in distant learning. So make sure if you would like to do distant learning online or study from home, from the very beginning, from the get-go, you need to apply for an online course. You cannot apply for in-person course and then move or shift to online. So from the very beginning, just apply for distance learning, and then it could be again full-time, it could be part-time. Like here, you have up to probably 60 months, up to 5 years to continue to finish the course. So distant learning courses are more flexible. This one is 20 years. Let's go a bit further. Here you have other courses in aerospace and cyber power studies. It's MA, distance learning, part-time, and it could take up to 30 months. So the answer is yes, but from the very beginning, you need to apply for distant learning courses in the university that you would like. Like here, University of Manchester, they have an analytical chemistry. It's distant learning, part-time. It takes up around 2 years for you to conclude your course. Does that make sense, Jackie?
Yeah. That's really very nice, and that's really makes sense.
No
Okay,
problem at
so
all. Yeah,
can I ask you another question?
please go on.
So it's a long question. I'm so sorry.
No, no.
So I have a graduation. I had
Mm-hmm.
my graduation on philosophy, which was from my country,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the first class, and my IELTS score is 6.5.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm living in it's Flintshire.
Mm-hmm.
It's nearby Chester. So I'm not allowed to leave my home office accommodation. I have
Yeah.
to live here.
Yeah.
So there is two universities nearby me, which is a Chester University and Wrexham University. But
Okay.
unfortunately, there is no department for philosophy. So
Okay.
there is some subjects like psychology, which I can apply because the requirement mostly match with me.
Yeah.
The score, the background, I can apply for psychology, but I was interested to complete my master's in philosophy.
Okay.
So I was thinking that if I apply for distance learning,
Yeah.
like in Birmingham or Manchester or London, wherever I I can get chance.
Mhm.
So is this better, or should I take the chance to get admission on psychology to my nearby universities? Which one will be better? Actually, I'm pretty confused right now.
Well, the main thing is your uncertain situation at the moment, okay, which I totally understand. So I'm going to give you some general advice, but at the end, it's you who make that decision for yourself, and it could be helpful for others as well. So first of all, you never know what is going to happen in terms of your asylum case in tomorrow or next week or next month, okay? So you may have, hopefully, your refugee status tomorrow or next week or next month before the academic year that you planning to go to university. So always have this in mind. Next month or in 2 months, 3 months time, you may be free to move wherever you want. So for that reason, and because you don't have any limit in terms of the number of universities you can apply for postgraduate, just diversify your applications. When it comes to accepting that, when you have the offer and this is the time to say yes or no, make that decision that time. So don't limit yourself in terms of whether to apply to Manchester or Birmingham only because you're asylum seeker and you need to live in certain places. Apply to wherever you want, both nearby and further afield, and then have the offers first. And then by the time that it comes to making that decision, you have more options and you can decide. Hopefully, if you have refugee status, you go to the places that you want. If not, you can stay where you are. So that's the first thing. Always have in mind that situation could be totally different tomorrow. The second thing is postgraduate studies. If you start in person full-time MSc, you don't go to university more than 1 or 2 days a week during the term time. So you have 12 weeks or 10 weeks in first semester, and you have 10 weeks, 12 weeks in the second semester, which means throughout a year, you don't need to go physically to the university for more than like 20 days or 30 days, let's say. Which means if you live in Chester and you study in University of Manchester and you need to go like 20 times in a year to the university to attend your lecture, that's completely possible using even public transport. So university courses for MSc, it's 1 day or 2 days a week during the term time, 12 weeks or between 20 to 24, 25 weeks a year. So if you live in somewhere that you can have access by public transport in about an hour, that's totally possible. I have many postgraduate students. I work in Liverpool, but I have many postgraduate students coming from Birmingham or coming from Manchester or coming from Lancaster because they can come during the lecture day by public transport, by train, and then they can go back to their cities or towns in the evening after the lecture. So you don't need to live in that city. So that's the second part. And then the third thing is when especially if you apply for a scholarship, if you're an asylum seeker, and if you apply for a scholarship, which we are going to talk about later, if universities, they give you the scholarship, most of them, they have some extra support for your transport costs. They understand some students, they need to travel or commute, and they need to pay for their train ticket. So there is like extra support available for public transport costs. So you have the option 3 as well. So based on those 3, what I would suggest, just apply for a range of courses, both where you live and further afield, where you would like to go to university. Focus on having the offer, and when you have the offer, and by the time that you need to make that decision, make the best decision based on that day's circumstances. Does that make sense, Jackie?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
No
much.
problem at all.
That's helped a lot. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let me just go through two other questions with, so for Yasmin, I want to apply to midwifery course, but how, I'm going to show you some examples for midwifery. For Mulat, the question, I have studied for PGDM full-time for 1 year in India. So what is the student status of PGDM in UK? Is it equivalent to MBA or not? Thank you. So what is PGDM? I'm not sure what PGDM is, because these courses have different names in different countries. But during the break time, Mulat, or at the end of the session, I'm happy to have like a more in detail conversation with you. Just I need to know more about the PGDM. There is a question, so applicant can do any course but no account. Well, no, that's not the case, Wilfried. So if you, it's not about applicant can do any course but not accountant. The web page, the University of Manchester requirement, if you would like to do accounting, you need to have a relevant accounting degree. It doesn't mean that you can do any other course. Even if you want to do engineering, you need to have like an undergraduate engineering degree. So the main thing is you need to go to the university web page. So if you are planning to apply for, I'm not sure, midwifery, postgraduate in nursing, you need to go to university webpage to see if you need to have a relevant undergraduate degree or not. That could be different from subject to subject, from discipline to discipline. The main takeaway, go to university website and see if you need to have a relevant, or you can apply with any kind of undergraduate degree. The general rule of thumb is if you are applying for more applied subjects, like in the field of medicine, in the field of engineering, you need to have a relevant undergraduate degree because you need to have some understanding of that subject. If you plan to apply for social science and humanities, like business management, marketing, sociology, so on and so forth, these courses are more flexible, so you can come and study these courses from different kinds of backgrounds. Let's move on to the next slide. So the application process for postgraduate, for MSc, or for master courses, it's different with undergraduate, because if you remember, for undergraduate, all universities, they accept applications only through UCAS, okay? If you plan to apply undergraduate, the only way to do it is UCAS. Whereas for postgraduate, you need to, there are some courses on UCAS, but don't go through that. That's my suggestion. The best way, or the main way, is to apply to the university directly. So you find the university, you find the subject, and then you apply. And most of the time, the application process is an online application. So you need to fill online forms and through the university webpage. And then, if you remember again, for undergraduate, you had only 5 options. For postgraduates, there is no limit. You can apply to 1, 5, 10, or 1,000 universities. So you don't have a limit in terms of how many postgraduate applications, MSc applications, you can submit to universities. You can have 10 to 10 different universities. You can apply for 5 MSc courses in 1 university. So there is no limit as such. You need to write a personal statement similar to undergraduate. However, the content of the personal statement is different, which I'm going to explain later. You need to have a reference similar as someone who can comment on your suitability as a student. If you remember from undergraduate, when you apply on UCAS, you didn't need to upload your qualifications, your degrees, your grades, and so on. However, for postgraduate, you need to have them ready when you apply. Okay, so when you apply for a postgraduate course, you need to have your certificate, your transcripts, your degree, your paperwork ready and translated, because they would like you to upload them during the application process. Again, if you don't have your language certificate, language qualification ready, You can say, I don't have it, but I can provide it later. That's fine. With language, universities are flexible. So you can apply for MSc. You can say, okay, I have a bachelor degree from Afghanistan, from Syria. You translate it, you upload it, but I'm still trying to sit the IELTS exam. And then they'll give you some extra time to prepare and provide your language certification. And the deadline is usually 6 weeks before the start of the course. The sooner you apply, the better. But most of the time, it's 6 weeks, sorry, like a month and a half or 2 months before the application, before the start of the course. So for September 2024, which is in 2 months' time, this is, we are about the end of the application process. There are still many opportunities open, but it's going to be until the end of this month, probably. So you need to submit 6 weeks before, but the sooner you apply, the better. Any question? I saw someone's hand, but I'm not sure if you have a question or not. Okay, again, the main thing, you need to have your bachelor degree translated, and you need to have your language. If you don't have it, you can do it later. And you need to have a reference and a statement, and you need to just go through the web page of the university and do your application process directly to the university. Mahmoud, sorry.
First of all, I would thank you for the whole things and info that we got for this course.
No problem.
Actually, I have a question regarding the submission fees.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, that we can submit as many as we can. So, but what about the submission fees?
Well, as far as I know, so for undergraduate, there is a submission fee of, when you go through UCAS, there is a submission fee of 25.6. It's less than £30. Okay.
Sorry for interrupting, but I'm just asking.
For postgraduate, yeah. So for postgraduate, most universities, they don't charge you for submission fee. Okay. Some universities they do, but most universities they don't charge you. So
thank you a lot.
Yeah. So most universities, almost, I cannot say all because I haven't tried all universities, but most universities, they don't charge you because they want you to apply and study in that university. So there is no such thing as admission or application fee for postgraduates. Okay, Yasmin, she says, I have a certificate of midwifery from Afghanistan, and what do you want to study for your postgraduate? Because you already have a certificate of midwifery from Afghanistan. Is that a bachelor degree? Or what kind of certificate is that? Because based on the level of that certificate, you may have different type of options. Okay, so 2 years, it's not a bachelor degree, okay? So that's not a bachelor degree. You can use it to apply for a bachelor degree, but you cannot use it to apply for an MSc, a postgraduate. Because for postgraduate, the minimum requirement, the minimum course requirement is 3 or 4 years undergraduate. So two years is not an undergraduate like a BSc degree. That's a different type of certificate. You can use it to apply for undergraduate, but not for postgraduate. And I'm happy to speak with you during the break or after the session about what other options you may have. Before taking a break, I would like just to quickly go through the writing that statement. So if you remember, for undergraduate, for UCAS, you need just to write one statement for all the 5 options that you will choose. Whereas for postgraduate, for every application that you submit, you need to have a personal statement. So if you submit 10 applications, you need to submit 10 personal statements. For the most part, it's going to be similar, okay, because it's about you. But the part that is going to be different is about why you apply to that specific course in that specific university. So for instance, if you apply to a university in London, you need to explain why you would like to go to that university and why you would like to study in London. And then if you apply at the same time to university in Bristol, you need to write about why you would like to go to that university and you would like to study in Bristol. So that's the part that you need to have in mind. Every statement that you use for your postgraduate, it needs to be tailored and written based on the city, university, and subject. So you cannot have just one and copy and paste it. You need to change it slightly for every single application. Most universities, they would like you to have like a 1-page A4, and these are the main things that you need to write in your statement. So you write about why you apply to that particular program. So for instance, why you apply to Master of Philosophy. So in case of Jakia. So why you would like to apply for Master of Philosophy, and then in that particular university. If it's Chester, you need to write about Chester. If it's Manchester, you need to write about Manchester. Why do you think you deserve a place above other candidates? So what makes you a good candidate for that course? So you need to talk about your background probably, because you studied something relevant or you have some work experience in that area. What you have done to prepare yourself in terms of reading, extra reading, work experience, learning language, and so on, the kind of skills that you have, and what would you like to achieve doing that postgraduate. And this is important because like for undergraduate students, often they don't have that clear ideas about what they would like to do after graduation. But as a postgraduate students, you need to have some more clear goals in terms of, okay, I'm going to spend a year studying masters in philosophy. What would you like to achieve? And what are your goals? What kind of jobs you are thinking of with that degree? It's very important because you are trying to become a postgraduate student. So you need to have a more kind of sophisticated and a better written personal statement. Most universities, they tell you about what kind of font size to use, but most of the time you need to use these standard fonts with text size 11 or 12, double space, and make sure that before submitting your statement, you read it a couple of times and you ask someone who speaks like English as a native speaker, or they are like good in reading and writing, they read your statement and give you feedback. So these are the main requirements. It's just 1 page, about 500 words. You need to write about yourself, the program, the city, your preparation, skills, and goals. And it should be written as if to show your level of English as a postgraduate student. I'm not going to go into the detail of PhD. I don't think anyone here is at the moment thinking about doing a PhD soon. But if you are interested in applying for PhD courses, I'll send you the slide, and then feel free to come back to me if you have any question. The next part is about a scholarship, but before that, I'm going to give you 10 minutes break. It's 11, so please take 10 minutes and come back 10 past 11, and we are going to talk more about the scholarships and other opportunities available for help and support with your university application process. I'll be here during the break, so go and take your break, and if you have any question, you can use the break time to ask your questions. I'm going to. So if you remember from last week, we talked about university here in the UK. It depends on which country in the UK you live. So we have different rules when it comes to student finance between England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So it's different based on the country that you live in. But I assume everyone here, or most of you, you live in England, somewhere in England, or probably Wales as well. Before I move on with the scholarship, I want to share with you this slide, okay? Because people ask quite often about what is my situation in terms of tuition fees. Do I need to pay, or can I have access to student finance, or do I need to apply for scholarships, and so on and so forth. So this slide, which comes from a video recorded by STAR, Student Action for Refugees, and you can watch the full video if you click on this link. It's a very informative, very useful video that I encourage everyone to watch. But from that video, I've taken this screenshot, which shows, first of all, different countries in United Kingdom, England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and Scotland, okay? And it shows different type of immigration status, whether you're asylum seeker, whether you have LLR or DLR, or you have HP, humanitarian protection, or refugee status. And then it shows you whether you have permission to work, whether you have access to a student finance, and whether you are classified as international or home student. Okay, for England, if you are asylum seeker, you don't have permission to work. I understand there are some asylum seekers who applied for permission to work, and then they have that permission to work once they are asylum seeker. But as a rule, for most people, when you apply for asylum, when you become an asylum seeker, you don't have permission to work. In terms of student fees, you will be an international student, and you cannot have access to a student finance. Therefore, you need to apply for scholarships. I'm going to explain scholarships later after this slide. If you have LLR or DLR, so the best way of understanding your immigration status is just to look at your BRP, the pinky ID card that you have. It says what is your immigration status. It says asylum claimant or LLR or DLR. If you have any of these two, you have right to work, but you will be considered as international unless you have lived in this country for at least 3 years. And before that 3 years, you will not have access to a student finance. If you have a humanitarian protection, HP, you have right to work in England, you are a home student, and you have access to a student finance. If you have a refugee status, you have right to work, you are a home student, and you have access to a student finance. The situation could be different if you live in Wales, Northern Ireland, or Scotland, but you can use this slide or watch the video for more information. So I would like everyone to just think about their situation. What is your immigration status? And based on that, can you have access to a student finance or not? Let's see. Any question or anything that you cannot understand from this? Is it clear to you what is your immigration status? Do you have access to a student finance or not? Whether you're home student or international student. Okay, good. I understand there are some people here. I'm going to explain that the difference between a student finance and a scholarship, Wilfred. I understand there are some people here who came to the country by family reunion visa, okay? Also, some of you are family of a refugee. So if you were here in the country when your husband or your wife applied for asylum, okay, and then they got their case accepted and you got the visa through them, so you were in the country, in the UK, and then you applied for asylum through that family application, you have the refugee status or family of refugee status. And then you are home student, you can apply. If you were out of the country, okay, if you were back in your country, your husband, your wife came to the country, they applied for refugee status, they got their refugee status, and you came over with family reunion afterwards, the situation could be different for you. So if your family and you were in the UK since the beginning of the application process, you are a home student. If you were out of the country and you came later after having refugee status through the family reunion, your situation could be different. I'm not sure yet about, because there has been some changes. As you can see, for HP, there has been some rule changes. I'm not sure yet what is the situation with you if you came through family reunion. But I sent an email to a colleague and I'm waiting for their response, and I'll let you know, hopefully next week, about if you came with family reunion, do you have access to student finance from the beginning, or do you need to stay for 3 years and then apply or not? Okay, so Mohammed?
Hello, sir. I here came from January 20. My family came here for September, maybe. That's maybe that this situation, maybe.
September 2020.
Yes, my family came here for September 20, maybe. And I came here for January 2024. That's maybe you tell this situation. That's
Yeah. So so your family came here first, and then
yes.
you came through family reunion visa.
No, not union visa. We came for visit visa. Visit visa. Family came here for visit visa. I also came individually for visit visa. After the family came here September, I came here January.
Okay, so what is your immigration status now, Mohammed?
Asylum seeker. Yes.
Okay, so yes, you're still asylum seeker. So you should go through this. There is time is not an issue for you. Okay, so you are still in that asylum seeking case. So you
Yes.
don't have permission to work. You are an international student, and you don't have access to a student finance. The only way is for you is a scholarship, which we are going to explain later.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay.
No problem. But because you are here, Muhammad, now, okay, now that you are going through the asylum process, you are here. When you have your refugee status, you don't need to wait for like 3 years or whatever. You are home student from the first day of being a refugee. So when you have your refugee status, you will move from asylum seeker to a refugee, which means you will be a home student with access to a student finance. Okay, any other question before we move on? Okay, so let's go back to scholarship. Okay, so first of all, we had a question about what is the difference between a student finance and a scholarship. So student finance is a loan for everyone who need support with paying tuition fees to university. So it's a loan. It's by Student Finance England, and then you need to pay it back when you finish your studies and you start working and you start making money. Okay, so you want to go to university, you don't want to pay money from your personal money, you apply for student finance, They give it to you. It's a loan. You need to pay it back when you start working and when you start making money. And it's for everyone. There is no limit in terms of how many people can have a student finance. So every year, thousands of students here in the UK, they apply for student finance. And if they are qualified, they will have their student finance. So there is no competition for that. Whereas scholarships, there is a competition. It's not for everyone. So they don't have enough scholarship for everyone. Probably if you have like 50,000, 60,000 people, refugees or asylum seekers or whatever, living in the UK, the total number of scholarships are less than probably 100. So there is a competition for that. Not everyone can have a scholarship. And the other difference is you don't need to pay it back. Okay, it's a reward. It's a kind of a gift that you don't need to pay that scholarship back. However, just have it in mind that for a student finance, you pay it back if you find a job and if you start making enough money. If you finish university and if you don't find a job, you don't need to pay it back. Or if you finish university and you don't make enough money, your income is low, you don't need to pay it back. So don't be worried about paying the student finance back, because if you find a job and if you make enough money, probably you are going to pay £50, £60, £70 a month. And if you don't make enough money, you don't need to pay it back. So that's the difference. A student loan, a student finance is for everyone. There is no competition. You need just to apply and meet the criteria. And then you need to pay it back when you find a job and make good amount of money. Scholarship, it's limited in terms of numbers. You need to apply. You need to compete with others, but you don't need to pay it back once you finish your studies. Is that clear in terms of what is the difference between a scholarship and student finance or a student loan? All right, good. So many universities here in the UK, they provide a number of scholarships every year for students who are asylum seeker, refugee, under humanitarian protection, or with limited leave to remain. No, Mohammed, as I said, if you remember from the slide here, it says asylum seekers cannot have student finance. So just if you have, when any question comes to your mind, it's always good to go back to the slide. But I'm going to explain more. So many universities every year, they give scholarships to people from those backgrounds, asylum seeker, refugee, humanitarian protection, and their families as well. The numbers are limited, okay? Have that in mind. Not everyone can have a scholarship. There is a competition for that, and some people may have it, some people may not. It depends on the application process and whether that universities, they are happy to give them the scholarship or not. For the scholarship, what you need to have in mind, first of all, you need to have an offer from a university. So you need to apply first for undergraduate through UCAS or for postgraduate through the university application first. Then when you have the offer from the university, then you can apply for a scholarship. So at this moment, don't be that much worried about scholarship. The first thing that you need to have is applying to university, having your degrees, having your language qualification. After that, having the offer from university. When you've had the offer and they said, okay, we are happy to give you this course or this program in our university, then you can apply for scholarship. When I send you the slides, there are some very good videos, okay, that I suggest everyone to watch. And in those videos, they are going to explain the whole application process, and they are going to answer most of the questions that you may have. However, I try to answer those questions today as well. So this is the process. First, apply for university through UCAS, or if it's postgraduate directly. Then when you have the offer, you can apply for scholarship. For this year, for 2024, most scholarships, or all the scholarships are closed because the new academic year is going to start in 2 months' time. But most of you are planning to apply for university next year, going to university next year. So application process for scholarships for next year is going to be next year in February, March, April, June, July time, towards the end of academic year next year. So don't be worried about the application process for a scholarship at this moment, because first you need to have an offer from university. Okay. That's a different application process. So application process for a scholarship is different from the application process for university. And you need to write a different personal statement. And when you apply, the only thing that they want you to write is your personal statement. And in that personal statement, you need to write about your situation as a person with refugee or asylum seeker status. And you need to explain why do you need that scholarship, that money. Okay, so when you apply for university, your personal statement is mainly about why would you like to study that course? Why would you like to go to that university? But your application process, your personal statement for scholarship, it's not about the course, it's not about the university. It's about you, because you're applying for a scholarship for money. You need to explain your situation, why you cannot pay for your tuition fees, and why you need that scholarship. Okay, that's the main difference. But when you get closer to that stage, when you have your offer and you are ready to apply for a scholarship, we will have some support available for you. Okay, don't be worried about that stage next year when you apply for a scholarship, but just have it in mind that this is what you need to write in your personal statement. Any question about the scholarship process? I'm going to show you. You already probably seen this, but there is a website called STAR, Student Action for Refugees. And you have the link to this. And in their website, they have a list of scholarships. Here. Okay, so you can go through the list. There are some points that you need to have in mind. Not every university gives a scholarship. Okay, we have, I'm not sure how many hundreds of universities here in the UK, but only these universities, okay, less than probably 50, 60 universities, they give a scholarship. So if you need a scholarship, only apply to universities from this list. Don't think that every university gives a scholarship to people with asylum seeking or refugee background. So this is the list. And if you need a scholarship, only apply to universities. Those are in this list. That's first of all. The second point that you need to have in mind, some universities, they give scholarships for undergraduate only. Some give scholarships for postgraduates only. Some give a scholarship for both. So just check if that university, they give a scholarship for undergraduate or postgraduate or both. So for instance, if you are applying to University of Birmingham, okay, they give a scholarship both to postgraduate and undergraduate. However, University of, let's see, Cambridge, Cardiff, Chester again, undergraduate, postgraduate. City, University of London, they only have a scholarship for undergraduate. So if you would like to apply for a scholarship, and if you would like to apply for postgraduate, City University of London is not a good option because they don't give a scholarship for postgraduate studies. So make sure if you are planning to apply for scholarships, you go through the list and you see which universities they give a scholarship for the course and the level that you would like to study. The third thing that you need to have in mind, some universities, they only give scholarship to asylum seekers, some to asylum seekers or refugees, some to asylum seekers, refugees, or people under humanitarian protection. Again, that's something that you need to check. For instance, University of Aston, they would like people with asylum seeking or DLR or LLR, but not humanitarian protection. Whereas this university in Wales, they give a scholarship to asylum seekers, people with DLR or LLR, and humanitarian protection as well. So if you have humanitarian protection visa, Aston is not going to consider your application, okay? So you need to apply for universities with who cover your immigration status. So hopefully it should be clear by now how to find universities with a scholarship. So first, is it about the university should be in this list? Okay, they should cover the level of study that you would like to study, undergrad or postgrad, or some of them, they give a scholarship for PhD as well. And then they should cover your immigration status. So you need to go through this list one by one, check level of study, and check the immigration status. That's it. And then when it comes to what they offer, universities, they have different package of offerings. Almost all of them, they pay for your tuition fee. So you don't need to pay for tuition fees for university admission or submission. However, some of them, they have some extra support as well. Like University of Aston, fee waiver, which means they pay for your tuition fees. You don't need to pay tuition fee. But throughout the course of 3 years of undergraduate, they may help up to £25,000 as well for your accommodation and for your English language support, or for your transport costs, or for buying like a laptop or something. University of Bangor in Wales, they have fee waiver. You don't need to pay tuition fees, but they don't have like cash support, but they give you accommodation as well. University of Bath, for undergraduate, they have £7,000 as well as accommodation. For University of Bath again, for undergraduate, they have another type, fee waiver, and they pay £5,000 per year for your other costs like accommodation, transport, laptop, internet, books, and so on and so forth. So again, you have enough time until next year, about March, April, February, probably, because as you can see, all of them are closed for 2024, or most of them are closed for 2024. But make sure that you have a list of, okay, these are the 10 universities with a scholarship that I would like to apply for, and I can meet the criteria of application in terms of level, immigration status, and the region that these universities are. Any question about how to find universities with a scholarship? All right, so let's see what else we have here. So in this part of our session, I would like to give you a list of resources that you have available through internet to reach out for support if you need any help with language learning, with finding jobs, with applying for universities, and so on. So this is a list of main organizations across the UK that you can reach out for further support if you need. And I'm going to go through each of them one by one. Okay. So Breaking Barriers, it's an organization based in London, but they have different services in Manchester, in Birmingham, and in some other parts of the UK. And mainly they support with employment and education, language learning, and so on. Refuate, again, we talked about Refuate. They are based in London, but they cover the entire country, and they provide support with language learning and with IELTS support. Also, they can give loans and grants if you need money for your having qualifications and so on and so forth. RE UK, Refugee Education UK, they have specialized support with higher education and college courses, further education. Renoisy, they are based in London, but they have different kind of support across the UK in terms of employment and ESOL. ELAT, it's a London-based college, and they have many online courses, including ESOL, free of charge for everyone. Groundwork, Turn, Hope for Young, ACH, and English for Action are others. I'm going just to go through their websites just quickly with you to see. So first of all, Breaking Barriers, as I said, they are based in London. Their main support is to help refugees with employment and education. So if you go to their website, you can find out more about their different programs of employment and educations. So for instance, if I click on education, you can see that they have English language classes and training courses for refugees in the UK, and you can just apply for support online. So you fill the application form and they come back to you to see what is the best option that they can offer to you. They have IT, they have digital skills, they have English courses, and everything is online. So, well, the courses are not online. You can, in some places they have like in person, in some places they have online, but the application process is online. You need just to go to apply for support through their online form. So you can say you are an individual seeking support, and then you fill the form, and then you submit the form, and then they come back to you with more information. The next one, which we talked about, is Refuate, and they are specifically support with language learning, especially with IELTS. They also have support with employment and then language programs. They have online courses, they have private courses in different cities in the UK. So again, the application process is online. You can just go online, fill the form, and then they come back to you with more information. Let's see, for language, for instance, if you go to the language page, you can apply online for IELTS if you're applying for, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, and you're applying for OET, which is like an exam for healthcare professionals. You can apply online here, filling the form, and they will come back to you once they have your application. But have in mind that many of these organizations, they are busy, okay? And you go and join their waiting list. So the sooner you apply, the better, because it may take some time for them to come back to you because of the long waiting lists that they may have. The third one is RE UK, Refugee Education UK. Again, they are based in London. They have different bases in London and in some other countries, including Birmingham. And if you go to the web page and you go to the young refugee part, you will have plenty of information about the different type of support. So if you need help for college, if you need help for university, if you need help for your general well-being support, they have weekly help in drop-in centers in different areas, and they have some other courses that you can benefit from. The next one is Renaisi, and their main support is to help with your employment and becoming employment ready, including learning English. So they have their services in some areas in London, and in some areas, because it's in many other areas, through online services. So they have free English, applying for jobs, having personal advisors. They have some extra events, and they may be able to help you with housing benefit, work support, and so on. And then you can find them, as you can see, they are in different areas in London, different areas of London. They have their base there, and then the process itself is online. The application process is online. As you can see, they are in, if you're in London, Barking, Enfield, Greenwich, Hackney, and other areas, they have some partnerships as well. And then you can find more if you go through their website. The next one, which is like an interesting one, is ILAT. Again, they have plenty of courses, many courses. Most of them are free, especially if you're a refugee and and unemployed, so you don't have enough income. So there are plenty of courses, especially ESOL courses, that you can have access to. So they have level 1, level 2, entry level 3, and you can just see different courses and you can just apply online. Okay, so which makes it easy for you. You just go through that and then you apply online. There is an online form that you need to submit and they come back to you. The next one is again a London-based organization called Groundwork, and they have employability support for refugees as well. The next one is Turn. I'll be talking about Turn in our very last workshop when we talk about self-employment, because Turn is a place that helps people from refugee background if they want to start their own business and become self-employed. Home for the Young, again, they have different type of courses, mentoring programs also, so they can give you a personal mentor who can help you with different types of application process, going to university, applying for jobs, improving your language, and so on. Also, if you, for young refugees up to the age of 25, I think, they have some money support, financial support as well. So people can apply to Hope for Future for having grants, having financial support for their tuition fees, exam, transport, and general study costs. There is another organization called ACH. It's based in Bristol, I think. Yeah, they are based in Bristol, Birmingham, and Coventry at the moment. And they can support with updating your CV, applying for jobs, preparing for interview, and basically they can help with career advice. So if you're in any of those cities of Bristol, Birmingham, Coventry, that could be a good option for you. Again, if you're in London, English for Action, it's a very kind of good organization. They have ESOL courses if you're interested, or if you need ESOL, and you can just go online and apply for their courses. So the application process is online, and if you're in or around Greenwich, Hackney, Lambeth, Southwark, Tower Hamlets, and Wandsworth, around those areas, they have language courses free of charge available for you. So that's for that. Any question about what I just said? So
how do we get to this link?
Well, when I send you the slides, you can see all those slides, all those links in the slide. Do you get the slides every week?
Ah,
Do you get the slides every week? So they send you a slides through email.
okay, okay.
Have you got them so far?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so if you go through the slides, you see all these slides in your email, and then you only need to click on these links. Okay?
Okay.
So that's for that. And as you see, there are different types and different levels of support available. The only thing is you need to reach out, okay? If you stay home and if you don't click on those links, or if you don't apply, if you don't fill those forms, if you don't make a phone call, if you don't go there, they don't know you need support. They don't know you need help, okay? And it's very difficult to make any progress without support, without help, especially during the first year or first 2 years. So the support is there. The only thing is you need to start reaching out. You need to pick up the phone. You need to start going there. You need to fill that application form, and then you will find the support that you need. So make sure that you try to become more active in terms of making connections and reaching out to different places for support. And this list is, there are many other organizations that I'm going to share with you in the next few months, but these are the main ones, especially helping with employment and with education and language learning. There is one more thing that I would like everyone to do, okay? So as you can see, there are many opportunities, but how you are going to know about those opportunities when they come up, okay? The best thing is to join the newsletter or the mailing list of those organizations. So anyone here knows what is a mailing list or a newsletter? Have you been part of a mailing list or newsletter? Anyone? Okay, so Wilfried, would you like to let me know about the kind of newsletter or mailing list that you're part of? Or how do you get those news? So basically,
Okay,
yeah, go on.
newsletter.
Yeah, go on.
Newsletter is when the website or the company or the college or the university, and they send you any kind of update,
Yeah,
any kind of news, events. You are the first person, the first of the people you need to send you first the update for everything about news, events, or update.
excellent. Thank you, Wilfried. Yeah, as Wilfried excellently explained, newsletter or mailing list is about registering your name and email in a list so that they can send you the most update information, news, opportunities every week or every month or every day, okay? So some of you may be part of newsletter for a business, like for Marks and Spencer, or for, I'm not sure, any other kind of business, for Starbucks. And every week they send you an email including the most up-to-date information about their business, if they have any voucher, if they have any sale, if they have any discount for you, and so on and so forth. Many of these organizations supporting refugee students or asylum seeker students, they have their own mailing list as well. And these are the 4 main ones that I would like everyone here to join as soon as you can. And it's quite easy, okay? So you need just to go there, click on this link, go to their webpage, put your name and email address in. Then every time they have a new course, they have a new language learning, they have a new opportunity, they have a new event for you, it comes to your email and you don't need to search for it, okay? They come to you instead of you going to them. I'm going to show here, what do we mean by joining? So if you click on any of these links, like for a star mailing list, okay, just click on this. It takes you to this page. You put your name and your email address in, and then the rest of the information. But the main thing is your name, your last name, and your email address. And then you just subscribe. And then every time they have a new scholarship, they have a new training, they have a new event, they have a new workshop, they'll send you an email saying that, okay, next week we have this workshop. So you will be aware of most of the opportunities around you that you can benefit from. The next one, REUK mailing list. Okay, keep connected, stay informed. Your email address, name, and then just click. And every time they have an opportunity for you on a weekly basis, they send you the email. And believe me, it makes a huge difference. Okay, you are going to have plenty of opportunities every week that you can use and benefit from. The next one is about breaking barriers. Again, you go through their their form and you fill the mailing list. There should be somewhere for, I'm trying to find. There should be a link, which I'll send you the link in the slides, but there is a link to their newsletter as well. I'm trying to find, and as you can see, they have information in different languages. So even if reading English is difficult for you, you can use their different languages. Then the last one is about REN. Okay, and then we will be talking about REN later during our employment sessions, because REN stands for Refugee Employment Network. But again, they have a newsletter which you can join, and then they send you information about different job opportunities or different training opportunities available for people from refugee or asylum seeking background. Okay, so for instance, at the moment, if you are a job seeker, they have different job search, different kind of events, different kind of guidance for you, so you can benefit from having access to that data. So the main point, the takeaway, is make sure that you register, you subscribe to their mailing list so that you have access to most up-to-date information every week. And then make sure that you take enough time to go through these websites and see which organization can help you, and then reach out to them. The main thing, I think, for everyone, add to the number of English learning hours that you have at the moment. And many of these organizations, they can help you to add to those hours. So you can go to 2 of these organizations, and they can offer you probably 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours more per week. And then by doing that, you are going to improve your language learning. Again, slide can help you with understanding your current situation. And I think that's it. This is the final slide. We talked about this slide last week as well. And again, people keep asking me about what kind of subjects, what kind of universities, what kind of programs it's better for me to study. And then we talked about this last week, but again, just as a quick reminder, first of all, think about, do you like it or not? It's going to become your job for the rest of your life. Is it something that you like or not? Think about the entry requirements, how easy or how hard or how difficult it is to meet that entry requirements. Think about your age and entry and other commitments. So probably you are more flexible if you are single without family commitments, or if you have more time if you are in your 30s. But if you are in your 40s or 50s with 2-3 children, you may need to have different type of options and different priorities. So probably you go for short courses instead of 3 years in university. But again, it's all about you and whether you like it or not. The financial requirements, immigration status, as you've seen in the previous slide, different options based on your immigration status. Think of okay, this is my current immigration status. What are the options for me? You need to think about mobility. So if you are living in Manchester, can you go to London for a course or not? Can you move to London? Can you commute to London or not? You need to think about, very important thing to think about is future opportunities. What kind of jobs and how large the job market for that particular program is going to be. So probably if you study computer science, you are going to have much larger job market and more job opportunities in future than if you study, I'm not sure, history. Okay, there is no problem in studying history if you like it, but if you think about which one to choose and you think about 2-3 options, think about the job market and which one gives you more options and opportunities in the future job market. Length of the course, as we've talked about, some courses are a year, 2 years, 3 years, part-time, full-time, online. So think about which one is the most suitable one for you. And then at the end of the day, think about whether it's realistic and does it worth the effort? Because just think about, okay, should I go to university for 3 years, for 4 years? And then what else or what next? And then you may come up with the decision, okay, university is not the best option for me, but there are other better options, which we are going to talk about next from next week or next session, or once we come back from summer break. And we are going to talk about, okay, university is not the best option for me for different reasons. So probably it's better for me to go through the vocational or through the applied options. So it's better to go to college, learn a job and start working, or other options. So keep thinking about those options, go through different links, join this mailing list, start your application process if you would like to apply for this year or for next year. This year it's already done, I think. Application process takes time. The sooner you start, the better. And if you come across any issue that we can help, just feel free to reach out for support. Okay, I'm going